Hey there YouTube, this is SGM4306 back with another review video. This time, this is actually something a little bit different and hopefully interesting. Well, for me, it's actually something that would probably be very useful. So, this is actually a wireless Bluetooth programmable keypad, I guess, or a macropad, if you want to call it that. So basically, this is a thing that sits next to your computer, and you can program each key to do independent functions, and you can use it to make things easier and quicker by just having to click one button to do like different combinations. If you have to, for instance, like if you wanted to do copy and paste, you can have it do like Control C and Control V and different things. Like in SolidWorks, you can have it like pan and zoom. There's actually little knobs on top that both rotate and click in, and then you have a set of 6 keys there, and I believe these are mechanical keyboard keys. So definitely better feel than like membrane type, like the kind that you get in laptops and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, so it has like a bunch of extra switches and stuff, and you can program each one. There's like an app that you can download, and it's RGB backlit, and it has a built-in battery, and yeah, just like something that would be genuinely useful. I do a lot of CAD work as well as programming. Probably for CAD work, I would get more use out of this. And looking at the price right now, the MSRP is about $80, $79.99, but it is currently on sale for $64. So hopefully I can get this video out in time so that it's still on sale for you guys. I got the green color. There are, I believe, a couple different colors available. But here you can see it is designed by sjmics, and the company name is Energy Fort. I was sent this for free, just so that you guys know. But I will do my utmost to review this as, you know, an actual person who would use this. So anyway, we have the user manual, which is roadmap, fold-out accordion style, and let's see. That's not English. Okay. So yeah, obviously it's in Chinese, but there's also an English version. And so yeah, there's lots and lots of different things. There's 2 whole knobs, 6 buttons, an on-off switch, a USB-C port, another switch. There's like 3 layer switch. I guess it's like it switches in each layer mode, whatever they're calling it, layer. You can program each button to have like 3 different functions that you can switch between all of them. So you can essentially get like 3 sets of all these buttons. But yeah, you can see the program there. We'll have to see. That looks very complicated, but it looks like it gives you a lot of control over exactly what key presses each of the buttons do. So that looks really functional. Yeah, and yeah, it connects over Bluetooth. So by the way, you could use this with a tablet, a phone, whatever you want. And it's just Bluetooth, so yeah, should be pretty good. It's also available in Korean and Japanese, it looks like. But yeah, let's just get into this. And we'll have to download the software and play around with it. But here you can see it does come with, I love when these USB cords come with these silicone bands. These are genuinely useful to have to wrap cords up with. The USB cord is actually really nice. It's like metal and like nylon, braided nylon. Length is decently long too. So if I untangle it, it is probably about 5 feet in length. Yeah, very nice cable and very purple, if you can kind of see that. So yeah, there's that. And we have the unit itself and nothing else in the box. So let's see what your about $60 to $80 gets you. We have the keyboard here. There seems to be some schmutz or something on the corner there. Looks like sort of a molding imperfection. Anyway, yeah, the keys. So I have a mechanical keyboard. These must be like a soft touch type, not like the kind that I'm used to where you click it and it like, when you get about halfway, you hear like the hammer of the mechanism strike and it's very loud. This is definitely quieter, but it feels nice. And I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe like you could actually pull these switches and replace them. I'll have to see the mechanism. Yeah, it looks like the type that you can replace. I don't have a key puller on me, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, so pretty sure you can actually just pop these out. You can see a tiny little RGB LED in there. The actual key plunger is red. So yeah, you should be able to just pop these out. You might need a tool or something to get in there, but I believe this is like the replaceable kind. So I should be able to stick any key that I want on there. Cool beans. So let's just stick this. So yeah, they feel pretty nice. Not too loud. The knobs are just like the mechanical rotary encoder type knobs. The only thing about these are they do eventually wear out, and sometimes it'll miss pulses when it starts to wear out, but that usually takes quite a while of fiddling. But if you're using this, say, for like the zoom functionality or scroll functionality, that's just something to keep in mind. Also, didn't mention this has this kind of cutesy little tiny typewriter aesthetic, which is actually very interesting. It's dual tone, obviously. I have the green one, like I said, and there is a little slot, which I'm gonna guess that's where you like stick your phone. So I got my phone here, and it's too large. So maybe it's for a smaller phone. I don't know. There's a little slot there for some reason. I don't know. You could stick a business card there. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, we have this 3-way switch. Yeah. On-off switch, which I think a light's supposed to come on, so maybe the batteries are dead, so I'm probably going to have to give this a charge before I use it. Just let me see if I can. Yeah. So we have little rubber feet on the bottom, just so that it doesn't skid while you're actually using it. That's nice. Like very glossy plastic. I mean, it's like decent quality. And other than this like one random mark, like the molding looks really good. Like the fit, there's not any like ugly seams or anything like that. The USB-C port's in the back, so thank God, no more micro USB crap. Yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, I guess this is about time for me to, for starters, plug this in, let it charge. I'll set it up. I'll actually use this at work because I actually do have like a few PCBs I need to design. So I'll probably set this up to use with Eagle, which is the PCB design software that I predominantly use. So give me 1 second to get back to you on that. For you guys, it'll be a second. For me, it'll be at least a week because I got to put some time into this. Anyway, I'll see you in a sec. Okay, just to give you guys a quick demonstration, I've already got this programmed using the program that I just showed you, and I have this as the volume control, this is like the scroll. I believe if I press inwards here, it play pauses. So we're just gonna show you on my tablet because this is paired over Bluetooth. There we go, it's loading, it's connected as mini keyboard. So if I go in here, I can turn up and down the volume, and I can scroll, just like I said. So that's with the switch in the leftmost mode. I also programmed, I haven't programmed anything in the middle mode, but in the rightmost mode, I programmed a lot of key bindings for Eagle. So I can design PCBs. I have like common things like rip up and run a trace, and I have like run the copper pour rat's nest, and zoom I have for one of the knobs, I forget which. Anyway, that brings me to my point of how this works. It works fantastic, like almost perfect. I say almost because there are some caveats. The biggest one being that there's no labeling on any of the keys. This is no fault of the manufacturer. It's just inherent of making a massively reconfigurable macro pad. I oftentimes forget what each button does in the different modes. That's just a matter of me using it more and getting muscle memory. I'm starting to kind of remember some of the functions, but sometimes I'll forget and I'll have to play around with it. But yeah, that's nothing I couldn't fix. I could actually very easily take a marker and write, or print a little label or something, or even if I didn't want to mark up this unit, I could just have like a little credit card thing that I print out with just an image of all the keys and what their functions are. That'd be easy enough. That's sort of a user sort of fix. Anyway, second biggest thing, there's no power indicator on here. I've left this on many times. Now, I will say that the battery life on this is fantastic. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I could leave this on 24/7 and if it would last like pretty much a week of even if, not touching any of the keys, just sitting this down a week in standby, I wouldn't be surprised. Seems to be pretty power efficient. But I kind of do wish that there would be a little LED. I understand they're trying to power optimize this, because once you add an indicator LED, that's just wasting power. So you could do what Bluetooth headphones and speakers do. They just flash the light like for half a second every like 5 seconds. That would be more than enough for me to be able to look at this and know whether it's on or off. Right now, there's no indication other than the switch is forward. And that's actually the first thing that when I try to get this working at first, I wasn't sure if it was actually broken or if it worked, because I saw this hole. I'm like, oh, that's probably the power indicator. But no matter what I did, it never turned on except for when I plugged it into charge. So I figured, oh, it was broken. So I took this all apart. I took a bunch of measurements, and it all seemed to be working. And lo and behold, it's just I misunderstood that there's no power indication on this. But yeah, that's something that they could pretty easily fix. Now, I love having the 3 different modes. So it basically makes this into 3 macro pads. That's genius. I love that. It's actually quite useful. This switch is actually really easy to use. You can just sort of flick it all the way left, all the way right. Getting the middle position's a little bit more finicky, but it's still doable. It's not that big of a deal. The keys feel... I'm just going to switch this off so I don't like screw up my tablet as I'm playing with all the buttons. Keys feel really good. And one thing to note, I'm pretty sure I already showed this before. If I can get a key off, is they use these standard mechanical key switches. These are the red capped ones, and they have the clear body so that the LED can shine up through it. And you can get other ones with like stronger mechanical feedback. They have ones that are like a lot clickier. These are pretty, I think these are the quietest ones from what I've read, but they still feel really good. And let me put that key on correctly. And yeah, I like that you can remove them. You can actually get a tool in there that they sell with like these kind of these switches, and you can actually disconnect the key, pull it off. You don't have to desolder it or anything. You can even replace them all with different type key switches. That's awesome. The rotary encoders feel really good. One thing that I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to remove this, typewriter-y looking thing, because it's just sort of in the way. And I'm going to 3D print larger knobs with like a little indent in them so that I can use the tip of my finger and scroll really fast. I think that would be more useful than having tiny little knobs like this. But yeah, I also like that they have the push-in click feature. So you not only get left, right, but you also get the enter. That's really cool. I still haven't really figured out what this notch is for. I have a feeling it's like so you could put a phone or something, or I don't know, business card in there. I don't know. It's just weird. But it's there. You can use it for something, I guess. USB charging. I actually haven't really run this down. Between me using it wirelessly and then also every once in a while plugging it in to reprogram the keys, it's kept its charge up and it hasn't actually died fully on me yet, which is why I provided that estimate of it'll probably last a week. I don't know. It might be a little more, a little less, it might be a lot more. I have no idea. But yeah, with how often that I actually wanted to like reprogram this, it just kept topping off the battery, so I've never had this die on me yet. Yeah, charging's pretty easy. Just plug it in. Red light comes on when it's charging, green light when it's not, when it's done charging. So That's pretty cool. Big caveat though. So yes, these keys are RGB backlit. It only works when you're plugged in over USB. And there are a couple different lighting effect modes that there's like a ripple effect. There's one that only lights up the key that you pressed last. There's one that just lights up all the keys. You can set the color. It's only by primary color. It doesn't do color fading. So there's like 6 or 7 different colors you can light up, like basic primary colors like red, green, blue, purple, aqua, white, and orange and yellow. I think those are all of them. But yeah, those only work when it's plugged in over USB and being charged. I get it, that's for battery life, because if you left the lights on all the time when it was running off battery power, this would die very quickly. But I would like them in, just hear me out, in that GUI programming app that they provide to program all the keys in here, just add an option to bypass that. Let the user decide if they want RGB at the expense of battery life. Let the user decide that. Don't force people to buy this nice RGB backlit keypad and then not be able to use it if they want to use the Bluetooth functionality. That's sort of a waste. But yeah, other than that, really good build quality. I just throw this in my backpack. There's lots of fingerprints on it. You can tell I've definitely been using this. That is one thing, because it's like this glossy plastic, it picks up fingerprints. Plastic quality feels okay. There is like this little mar here. I don't even know what that is. It looks like something was like molded in with the plastic or something. So there's slight imperfections. Given the price, last I checked, I think the price of this was like somewhere around the $50 or $60 mark. So not like particularly cheap. Hoping that this is just a one-off problem, weird molding defects, and or if it is a larger problem, hopefully they fix that issue when they ship out. But yeah, I just thought that we would pop this guy open. Now these feet, they actually had a center part to them, and I punched those out so I can gain access to the screws at any time. I just like taking stuff apart. So I guess we'll just okay, so we're in. There are some ribbon cables, so I'm going to detach them just so I can show you guys up close. So here's the battery. It is 1000 milliamp hours, which is not bad for like a office desk electronic tool thing. I expected to have like a tiny battery because this feels pretty light, but yeah, that's actually a pretty beefy battery for like a macropad. Like I said, that'll contribute definitely to battery life. And look how much space there's left in here. If you want to mod this would be trivial to get like a significantly larger battery. There's a lot of room, both vertically, the Z height, to fit in. This is more or less flush here. If you see, it just has this keypad to kind of clear. But yeah, you could definitely fit like twice as thick of a battery, and one that's like maybe 50% larger by area. And if you wanted to cut out this plastic retaining wall, you could fit an even larger. You could probably fit like a 2500 milliamp hour battery in there if you wanted ridiculous run times. And it's easy. There's just 2 contacts, positive and negative. It doesn't do the whole temperature sensor thingy. Anyway, you can see a little bit of circuitry. There's 2 transistors, it looks like. So I'm thinking maybe that there's soft power control, because it looks like this switch, well, it looks like it goes into both transistors. Don't know how exactly that's configured. There's some more circuitry here, possibly related. Yeah, it's like decoupling the battery. And there's a USB-C connector there, and then just a ZIF connector. There is I think it's a bicolor LED. That's a red-green LED for the charge indicator with a little light pipe, and it just shines in there. So yeah, and a little surface mount switch, and that's all you got on the bottom there. Pretty simple. We'll take this off as well. And we just push it out from the knobs on the front, and it pops out. So, okay, here we have through-hole rotary encoders. Okay, someone answer me this. Why, I see this quite often, why do manufacturers only solder one of the mechanical support leads on like these types of potentiometers? the left one is unsoldered on both of them. Like, I get it, it's compressive most of the time, and it's not like experiencing like a ton of torque. And there are other leads, soldering it down, but just put a little extra solder on there and solder both leads. Just that would make it even more mechanically secure. Anyway, rant over. Yeah, you can see the marking here. It says Energy 4 KB. This is actually relatively new, January of 2023. That's a revision number. And it says 2 keyboard, and the other one doesn't actually have a label. That obviously goes to the power board. And here's the entire brains of it. And naughty, they scrubbed off the markings on the chip, so you can't read what kind of microcontroller that is. That's a bit of a shame. Obviously, though, that has whatever chip this is has integrated Bluetooth, because you can see the antenna here, and there's no other chips on this board. We have the 3-way slider switch, which is one of these surface mount doohickeys, and and we see the crystal oscillator for the chip. And if I'm reading this right, it is 24 megahertz. That doesn't mean that there isn't a PLL, though, inside the chip that boosts that up in frequency. Yeah, you can see, I've already pointed this out, but the Bluetooth antenna is just a trace on the board. It's like an F antenna. We have 3 unpopulated, very interestingly enough, RGB LEDs labeled 13, 14, and 15 right in the center. I'm guessing that was used at one point. They were going to, depending on what the 3-position switches in, it would light up a different one of those or something. But obviously those are unused. I almost wonder if I could solder those in. The limitation might be, though, that the firmware does nothing with them, in which case, even if you physically solder them in, it'll do nothing. But yeah, that is a thing, though. They're definitely wired to the chip. Here you can see it uses Bluetooth Low Energy, hence the good battery life. Obviously, if you're going to have a device that just sends like keystrokes every once in a while, BLE is definitely the way to go. And we have a date code for the actual PCB manufacturer. Interesting that they use silkscreen to differentiate square and circle. I guess for the people who are installing these, it's part of like their MPI of which cable goes to what position. Anyway, we have... Oh yeah, if you wanted to take out that keyboard looking thing in the top, this typewriter looking thing, it's just 2 screws, so that's easy enough. This board, I'm actually going to pull this out, just 4 screws. Okay, this is a little bit trickier because I'm trying to pull out all the keys at once effectively. There we go, they came out. So yeah, you can see these are free floating, they're just clipped in. And you can definitely pull those out if you wanted to replace them. From the front, though, you don't have to go this far into it. You can see the RGB LEDs under each key. It's they all look like they're wired in series, which means that they're like the serially controllable, like the WS2812 LED types. You can see they're actually a pretty small surface mount package. But yeah, that's what lights up each of the keys, and there's each key has this sort of wiper blade style removable socket that's soldered, and that's how you can actually remove. Each key only has 2 wires, obviously, and it's looking like, if I look over, yeah, these are all wired as like a small matrix of keys. And yeah, you can see obviously square ribbon connector goes over to square board, round goes over to round. Haha, figured out the code. I kind of wish it had more keys. I don't know, I haven't checked their product catalog if they sell one with like 9 keys, but I think 9 keys would kind of be perfect. So make this a little bigger, add 9 keys, and just keep the rotary knobs and everything else the same. Add an LED indicator that you can switch on and off in software for power indication. Have it RGB and display the battery life, like green for like high, yellow for medium, or orange for medium, and then red for low battery. That would be fantastic. We're just going to go ahead and reassemble this real quick, though. Okay, one other thing that I forgot to mention. So while I said the Windows software works just fine for setting things, I never had an issue with that. There could be an improvement. So obviously the way it works is it's sending a serial command to the chip inside of here, which is then interpreting that to reset, to like program like non-volatile memory to bind each key. So the issue with that is it's a one-way directional communication. The chip inside here can't communicate back to the computer. There's no way, like, it's physically probably possible to, but in the way it's currently implemented, it isn't able to. And so when you program a key, you'll see on the screen what the function you selected is and what the key that you're programming currently is. That's all clear. But there's no way to read back that information to see what, if you bind a key and then you forget what it does, short of testing out the key, there's no way to know what you originally programmed it. I wish that even if there wasn't two-way communication, the way that they could get around that is having a like a file that the program saves, like a temporary file, and having it store when you go to bind a key, having it store a database of the last used keybind, basically. And it can load that up when you open the software, so that I'll know, oh, I programmed this key as play pause, and this one is up, this one's down, left, right, and this one's mute, for instance. And it can just load that up just to let you know what the keys were last programmed as. That would make things a little bit more user-friendly, and that would be kind of an easy, cheap way of implementing. Actually, that wouldn't even require any software modification on this end. If you just have the Windows program, maintain a database of what the keybinds last were programmed as. That would be the stupid way of doing it. The smart way of doing it would be actually to have this chip communicate and send a packet back to the computer when requested with the state of all the keybinds. I mean, that would be the better way, but I can understand if they don't want to put the effort into, doing a whole new firmware update for this chip just for that, then just have the Windows program keep track of what all the keybinds were. That would be a nicer way of doing it. But yeah, I'm going to find a USB cable and just show you the backlit function. I just have them on statically right now, so that I know the position of the switch. They're each a different color depending on whether it's left, right, or middle on this switch. Give me one sec to find a USB cable though. Just going to do a demonstration of it plugged in. It is plugged in here. You can, I guess I had to unlock. Here you can see it still works. It volume up, volume down, etc., etc. If I turn off the lights, you can see it's blue when it's in the first position. Oh yeah, another thing is a pain in the butt getting the switch on the actual PCB fit correctly to this slider switch on the outside. The hole has to be like aligned perfectly, and it's a pain in the butt, and there's a risk of breaking the switch off if you don't get it right. So yeah, I wouldn't advise taking that port out either. But yeah, middle position is this aqua color or teal sort of, and then green is this last position. Like I said, you can configure these any way that you want. You can even have it only light up when you press the key. I just like a visual indication of what mode I'm in. So when I glance at the keyboard, I can easily see without having to like look at the actual switch itself. Just out of the corner of my eye, I can see that's green, that's blue, etc., etc. Anyway, actually fully charged now again. It's charging off my tablet now, I guess. But yeah, it's not connected over Bluetooth. It's over this USB cord. And as soon as I turn this off and connect over Bluetooth, which it just connected now, it's yeah, unfortunately, it is no lights right now. Hopefully they can fix that with like a, I don't even think it'd have to be, hopefully they can fix that with like a firmware update or something. I don't know. This chip, I don't even know what it is because they etched the part number off of it. I don't know if you can reflash it over USB. That would be a nice surprise. But even if they can't fix it in hardware for this specific unit, hopefully they can fix it on like future models or whatever. And they can roll out a firmware update or something. Anyway, Huge thanks to the manufacturer for sending this guy in for a review. If you are interested in picking up your own, or at least looking at what other models they have, I believe the software alludes to the fact that they have different models with different number of buttons and etc. etc. So I haven't really checked out the manufacturer's website, but I'm sure they have larger keypads than this. So I actually will be interested in checking out what their pricing is and whatnot, because this actually works fantastic. Like 99% of the time, other than like the small gotchas like the power indicator and me wanting more buttons now, because that's a thing. But yeah, anyway, if you are interested, you can check out the links down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.